Hey guys, giving you my first ever review on my first ever XM Studios piece, the quarter scale Omega Red. This guy measures almost 24 inches tall, and it is every bit an amazing statue. The details that XM puts into this is, every time I see it, I find something new, something little intricate piece that you wouldn't expect to be in basically a quarter scale. You would expect the details to be in a third scale just by the mere fact that you have so much more room to work with. But this XM Studios piece is amazing. It blows me away every time I'm looking at it. We'll start at the base and just kind of work our way up. The base is full of little details that some are amazing and others could be a little bit more too. We'll work our way around on it. Like each one of these turbines and pillars that they have that he's standing on are spot on. You could tell it's been in an industrial facility that he's just torn apart, because you see the rust and aware of, okay, it's been around forever, serving a purpose, but now this guy just comes in and just starts destroying everything. You get details down to even the smallest bits. Like you can see in the back here that with his strength, he's just pushing all of these over. There's nothing going to be left standing by the time he gets done. But that isn't the main aspect of it all. It's the wear and tear of just use from it. You can see on all of these, you can see the rust, that it's been around for a while. It has been in use. Each one of these has at least some sort of rust on it and been in use forever. Another one of the intricate details that you kind of look over and take for granted is things like this, like the gauge. Most of the time you're looking at gauges as like, okay, it's just a sticker with a piece of plastic over it to create a seal. But this is just, you can tell it's the quality that they went into doing this. It isn't just a sticker in there. It legitimately looks like a real gauge. Same as with these handles. You can tell the worn sections of it, the use, because you've got the worn paint on it, you've got the rust. It's not pristine. Doesn't look like it's a brand new facility. This looks like it's been around in Mother Russia for decades. You get up underneath some of these turbines and you could see even there, you got the rust and you've got the wires and everything that are just all over the place. There isn't really a blank spot when it comes to these things, because, well, it's the equipment. You know you're not going to have areas that just are blank and serve no purpose. Even with these cables, you see that, okay, you know that there's cabling going to be run around, or these screws right here are basically just been frayed off. He's just pushed them and snapped them in half. Cabling's been snapped and wires are hanging out. These things are, little details like that are what made this statue amazing. One of my favorite things on it, though, are these little tubes that they have. A lot of people, when they first got this and first started having them in hand, a lot of people were thinking that moisture was getting in and settling into these tubes, because they're plastic tubes. Okay, they're bendable and flexible. You actually take them and put them into some of these areas. They just slide in just like that, and they just sit in there. So people were thinking that these tubes got moisture in them from the factory or something like along that route, but it's not. XM Studios went in and put in these tubes little air pockets and things like there to make it look like there is fluid flowing through these tubes, because there's going to be air bubbles and tubes and things along that route. These are the little details that just make this statue kind of pop. Now we're still working our way up Omega Red, and this guy just, you could tell he came for a fight. You could tell he's already been in a fight. A lot of these claw marks, it looks like he's already been in a fight with Wolverine, even though some of these, they seem to be spread out further than you would have thought, but they're all over him. But you get to the spots to where it's okay, it's not just the claw marks. You've got the dirt and the grime that's all on those spots. That he's not clean. He's been in a fight. He's been just to hell and back. You got the texture of his uniform and things right here, to where you actually feel the difference. You feel, and then you actually see the difference in the shading, because this uniform is not going to be immaculate. It serves a purpose for him. You've got the shading for his muscles all right, where you can see it all popping out. You got it right down the side there with the seams. His statue, his presence is just intimidating. Like, all the muscles are bulging. He's ready to go. He's not relaxed. This is an attack pose for him. I mean, you start moving up here higher and you see every muscle just bulging, ready to go. You've got the little details of right up there. You got the knuckle pads, which show wear. You got his Omega Red symbol on. You got his Omega symbol on his gloves. You've got his tools and his weapons, which, in all honesty, you don't ever think that this guy's going to use anything in a pocket. He is the weapon. He's been built that way. And you can always love a good old comic book character, because unless you were drawn to be a fat guy, you're going to have like an 8-pack abs. I mean, this guy is just ripped. Like I said, every muscle is bulging. He's ready for a fight. The back is well detailed down the middle right here, showing where all of his muscles. And One of the other things, the way they built this statue is with his suspenders, it keys in right there on all four. It's a little pin that pushes in right there, but the arms come off with the shoulder pads, and the shoulder pads actually, this slides into that section right there, and then the arm, once it slides on, compresses this and holds it all into place. The statue it's not like other ones to where it has a ton of switch outs and everything. He actually only has the 2 switch out portraits. The rest is what you see is what you get with him. But what you see is me. I don't foresee having to change anything on him. I mean, I wouldn't switch out anything. You got the tendrils that slide just in, like just with that little key, which is the same type of key that slides in right there on his utility belt. But then you got the detail. I mean, this is the tendril that comes out is amazing. It's firm, like you're not too worried about breaking it, but it's flexible and gives a little bit, so you don't feel like it's kind of odd the way you try to describe it. But the details and everything for each joint are pretty spot on. And then all it does is it slides in right there and just slides. Once you kind of get it lined up straight, it just slides right in, and that's how it looks coming out of his arms on both of them. No seam marks or anything like that. It looks flush and perfect how they did it. Now we'll go up to his head sculpt. He's got 2 head sculpts. He's got the one that's the typical superhero or supervillain, the screaming pose or the screaming portrait. The hair and everything, each strand it's very, very well done. You still look at it as like you're amazed that it gets to you without having breakages, because he has a lot of just the single strands running like that. So pull the head sculpt off and we can look a little closer, because this is where he becomes amazing. It's the details and the gums and the teeth, the little things that like XM does, the eyes and how red they are. You get the little areas like right there on the side where the electronics are for him. But to me, what gets me is the details on the inside. You're looking at it, so you see in the back of his mouth, it almost looks like it's wet, like he's got moisture in his mouth. The pink and everything, it's spot on the way they did his head sculpt. Now we'll switch over to the other head sculpt. This is the one with the man bun that he has. That is actually a separate piece. They don't ship it like this. That piece actually comes off when I stick it on him, and when I put his head on, I'll show you. But his is also the same way. You've got the details and the gums and the teeth and the red eyes. This was going to be the pose that I thought I would actually use more, but honestly, I like the other pose, the other face sculpt a lot better. I don't know why. I think it kind of caught me off guard. You see how the man bun slides in like that? That's just a magnet, that just pretty firm magnet that's right on top of his head. So the hair sculpt, just like the other one, it's so well done. You see the textures, and each strand is kind of all together and clean. And this guy is amazing. Stuff that came in the box with them are the typical the xmen art print, which is a nice art print, although I do kind of, like everyone else, hate kind of how they do that. Because it's like, if you frame it, it's like that's going to be right there, and it's like you really don't want that to be there. And then this is what more companies need to start doing. It's doing a print of where everything is at in the box without it all being wrapped up, because this came in just one large box. So, but that's what more companies need to do, so we all know how everything's supposed to fit in if we ever move on from our statues and have to get rid of them. But a few things that I wish they would have probably done a little bit differently on these was the face sculpt. Both of them are looking down. I wish they would have done one to where he's looking straight, so I could have displayed him at more of like an eye level. This is almost like a statue that you have to display high so he can look down on things. But that's just something small. That's nothing horrible. It's not a deal breaker, because the way this guy looks, he looks like he's coming from above on you anyway. And considering his height in comics is like, I think it was 6'11". I mean, he's not a small individual. And then one of the other things was the snow that they had on here. The snow doesn't look as well as it could. It's a little flat, but it's also not too predominant on this statue. It's just little bits just to kind of break up the seams at the bottom. So, because you figure this is a factory out in the middle of nowhere anyway, so. But in the end, I'm utterly blown away by this statue. He's amazing, and I'm definitely so glad I didn't pass up on him, because he's one of my favorite villains from the X-Men, and he was one that I don't foresee other companies doing. So it was kind of one that's like, you either get him from XM or you don't have him at all. So for the price tag, I do definitely believe he's worth it. So thank you for having me, guys. Chris, thank you for allowing me to do this, and I hope everybody likes it. Thanks.
Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.